Everyone talks about big numbers at MIPIM, 23,000 delegates, billions in deals, 90 countries represented. But what if the most meaningful moment aren't measured in numbers, but in stories? In this episode, part 2, we dive deeper into the unofficial side of cans, the side you don't find on the official agenda. We've spoke to people that are experiencing it for the first time, those who've cracked the code, and 2 men who helped write the rules before the rules even existed. So stick with us, because this isn't just about property deals, it's about people, timing, trust, and how the right conversation in the right place can change everything. By now, the Palais festival is in full swing. Inside, deals are pitched, panels are underway, cameras flash, and suits move quickly between meetings. But just a few steps away, outside the official badge scanners, something else is happening. The cafes are packed, not with tourists, but with project managers, planners, investors and consultants. People that you'd usually need 6 weeks and 3 introductions to get in front of are now sipping espresso on the same pavement. Cafe Roma, for example. It's not on the official MIPIM map, but ask anyone who's been here more than once and they'll tell you this. This is the unofficial headquarters of the real estate world during the MIPIM week. Deals start here, over breakfast, over coffee, over lunch. 1 glass of rosé that turns into 2, and a handshake that turns into a planning meeting on Monday morning. This is the power of the unofficial. The playing field gets levelled and the format is human. There's no stage, no slides, just honest conversations, serendipitous moments, and the quiet knowledge that everyone here is looking for the same thing, real relationships that lead to real opportunity. Sometimes you can get more out of a 20-minute chat outside a cafe than a full day inside the conference. And what makes it work? It's the collisions, the looseness, the randomness, the fact that Cannes compresses a year's worth of networking into 4 days. And often, it's the unscheduled moments that move the needle the most. This is where the game changes, not through an announcement, but through a connection. For those here for the first time, the Fringe can be a real surprise. There's a moment when you realise this is where things happen.
Well, everyone was saying to me beforehand that maybe you might meet 1 or 2 people, but don't expect any work out of it right straight away, which we wasn't, but we are getting some leads. Not particularly, we won't be particularly looking in Europe, we want to go in that direction eventually, but maybe in 3 or 4 years' time. But at the moment, there are some good leads in the UK, so that is the most impressive thing for us. We just come here to meet people, have a good time, and make sure we make some meaningful connections, and take it from there. In the UK, over the last 10 years, mainly been in social housing, and it's an opportunity for us to maybe get more into the private sector, and coming to MIPIM will help that.
When we meet other people, like insurers, other investors and funders, try and gain a wider understanding of the sector that we're actually in, because as architects we tend to just focus on the plan, the drawing, the design, but we don't understand some of the other driving forces behind the client's decisions, so it'd be good to get that kind of insight as well.
It's bigger than I was expecting. There's more people than I was fully expecting. You walk into a bar and there's probably 150, 200 people there, of which there's probably 10% that you want to talk to. People that you can't get to meet in London because their diaries are too busy. It's creating relationships with people that, again, you wouldn't get to meet in everyday life. Ultimately, we need to be growing the business year on year. And without access to these people, we're going to stand still. So it's important to be able to meet people, forge relationships with them, and hopefully do some work with them.
For first timers, the Fringe isn't just networking, it's a revelation. It reshapes our thoughts about what events like this are all about. Then there are the regulars, the ones who figured out the rhythm of Cannes. They know where to be and when to be there.
I was waiting for a meeting outside a bar, randomly at 6 o'clock in the evening. The guy asked if he could take the stall, and we ended up talking, and we ended up working with him for about 3 years. And it was big projects that we ended up doing with them over a period of years. I mean, it's that opportunistic element of it. It's the serendipity of it. It's finding that element whereby, okay, you've got a meeting there, but actually the meeting you might have just by chance might be the value in it. And the fact you can access people who are business leaders who are driving it forward, and you're not having to pay to get in somewhere simply to have that meeting, but it layers on top of that's the value.
Every day that I spend in MIPIM, I find business, and business finds me, and it's great. And it's not always immediate. I've had somebody that I've met probably about 8 or 9 years ago, and we've kept our conversations and our meetings here at MIPIM. But actually now this year, that's blossomed into, for me, an amazing opportunity, an amazing business opportunity that's going to take part of our business forward for decades. I think I'd rather first talk about what they call the bunker. It's incredibly expensive, and I've not really met a person who has told me that when they go into the display arena of MIPIM, that's what they get out of it. And what I see and what I've found over the last 10 years, and what everybody has told me, is that all the business and all the interactivity all happens out in the fringe. It happens out in the restaurants, it happens with the fun, it happens with the connections, it happens with the communication. And all those things mean that you can make lifelong friends.
It's all about people, it's about relationships, it's about building relationships. Well, I would always recommend people to come. I'm just out here by myself from Conisby this year, and I've been here several years, got loads of client database, met loads of people out here I know, and you should not be afraid to come and put the investment in, and it's well worthwhile.
MIPIM was effectively started today, but I came out here on Monday, and I've been instructed on 115 units in North London, and valuing the site for 750 units. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds, over 15, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds. To be honest with you, if you're looking at a small business, it'll probably be the difference of making a profit or loss.
I've come here to meet developers, different contacts in the industry, and it's been really good for us. Over the last 9 years, we've probably had £1.5 million in fees from people who've met here and then built relationships. And it's just been really successful. Do you know what? I've got one of my developer friends. He comes and his intentions party and drinks. Yeah. Yet he's one person I met here who's paid me about 600,000 quid in fees. So whilst we had a good fun and good laugh, he recognised somebody else. We had a meeting, got work, and absolutely not is it just come and party. And Pete, you know me well enough that I will have a drink, have fun. Yeah. But that's what connects you with people, connects you with these different people.
The regulars treat cans like a board game, and the fringe is exactly where the real strategy plays out. There are the first timers, the seasoned regulars, and then there are the Godfathers. Norman and Ray have been coming to Cannes for longer than most of us have had LinkedIn profiles. Between them, they've shaped the way this event works on and off the record. We sat down for a 20-minute conversation about how MIPIM has evolved, what makes the fringe so powerful, and why they keep coming back year after year.
I just arrived at MIPIM and I was doing a project in Kent, and this was on a Sunday, and the contractor was working on site, had just arrived, and he realised that the site wasn't the size or shape that he thought it was. So he said, what am I going to do? Well, we've got to get it sorted. And I realised I needed a new survey done.
And I'm sitting in this restaurant with Ray, and I said to Ray, "Oh, you wouldn't believe it. I'll come all the way to Cannes. Now I've got to sort out a problem. I need this thing." And he turned around
I said,
and said,
"Norman, give me a second." And I walked down 5 metres away, and there was Peter and Claire sat on another table. And I said, "Peter, we've got a minute. Claire, there's a survey needs doing."
Yeah.
Peter came up, chats with Norman. No problem. We'll be there Monday.
Can you do the survey tomorrow?
The next day, did the survey.
And you did.
That is about that connectivity where everyone wants to help everyone.
Yeah.
And it worked out a treat, didn't it? There was one particular year where I was here, got a phone call from a quantity surveyor, well-known quantity surveyor, wanted to meet 3 contractors. The main contractor I worked for, I was the only one that was registered in the book. He knew me well. He rang me, Ray, and he talked to me about a defence sector project up in the northwest of England. And I didn't know about the scheme, but he told me lots about it. So after the 20-minute meeting at Cafe Roma with a coffee, off he went. I sat with my little notebook, rang the defence director of the project, the company, who said, "Ray, this is fantastic. We're tracking this scheme. In terms of a jigsaw, we had 250 pieces. You've just brought us another 300 pieces of the jigsaw." And this company I worked for won the project. It was a £20 million first phase job. And because the contractor that was the incumbent contractor on the site, the future phases naturally went. So it led to £80 million worth of work.
These two have seen it all, boom years, busts and everything in between. Their insight is pure gold. And if you want the full story, watch the unedited interview with Norman and Ray coming soon to the Spatial Dimensions channel. When the people who help build the culture of MIPIM tell you the fringe is where it happens, you believe them. From first timers to industry veterans, the fringe has its own rhythm. It's not in the official schedule, but once you tune in, you start to hear it everywhere, over breakfast, coffee, lunches, and on the space in between the meetings. So we've just scratched the surface of the Cannes fringe, where cafes become boardrooms and the most powerful introductions aren't scheduled, they just happen. We've seen one thing come through clearly: real estate is a people business, and Cannes, it brings the right people together in the right place at the right time. But this isn't the end of the story. In part 3 we shift the rhythm. We'll join the 7 AM runners of the Property Sports Network. We'll take you inside an invite-only lunch and step into the late-night world of the Old Town, where some of the most unfiltered, honest conversations of the week unfold. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the Spatial Dimensions channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss part 3, the conversations that matter. It's coming soon, and trust me, it's worth it.